Yo guys, a new patch in UTDX just dropped and Beast Gohan and a bunch of other units just received major buffs. So let's check out the new buffs on Gohan. Alright guys, so as you can see, we got some balance changes and buffs to Beast Gohan, Blanco Beast. 20% overall damage increase, buffed crit damage gain from passives, buffed etherealization 2 to 150% crit damage cap, so now it does more damage. 150% damage is now permanent once procced from Wrath of the Beast. So once he gets stunned, he receives a permanent 150% damage buff. Let's go ahead and hop into an infinite and we're going to test run this. Alright guys, so we did just go ahead and we hopped into an infinite. We're just going to go ahead and start maxing out our farms. And then we'll go ahead and place a unit down and we will get enough money so that we can go ahead and place our Gohan down and check him out. I do not have S stats on everything. I do need to go roll that. So he's not doing as much damage as he could be doing, but don't worry. He's still a beast. These buffs are actually crazy. I did go ahead and I checked him out, but I'm ready to showcase his damage to you guys. I honestly don't know if he's the best DPS, but man, he sure does a lot of damage. He does more damage than Vegito. All right, let's go ahead and place him down. Let's check this out. Right, sick. Okay, let's go ahead and check out his new passives. So his passives did get reworked a little bit. Unrestrained power. Okay, he will gain 10% of the total damage of all units owned by the player within his range. This buff can scale up to 100%, so he can only gain 100% extra damage off of this. I did go ahead and test that out with virtual idol buff and everything like that. All right, and this buff can scale up to 100%. Let's see, and on stun he gains 30% crit for 20 seconds and 30% AoE size. All right, let's go and check out his other buffs because this is where it gets crazy. All right, damage is higher. Okay, whatever. He finished it. He does like the surrounding damage if he has more HP. When his damage is higher than the enemy's HP, he does the damage to the surrounding enemies. Now, nothing crazy. That's not really what we're looking at. You know, it's good, but like this is what we're looking at. Wrath of the Beast. The change on this one is crazy. 150% damage permanently once he gets stunned. He just gains 150% permanently. And this one right here, for every base stock lost, so there's 3 out of 3 stocks up here. If you get down to 1 out of 3, he'll gain 150% damage buff. If you were to run this in like a world raid or something where it has 6 stocks and you get all the way down to the 1 stock, Gohan's going to be doing crazy damage. Probably the most damage in the game. I'm not gonna lie, he does a lot of damage, receives a crazy damage buff from that. And then of course we have his ability, absolutely busted, 500% damage to all enemies on the map. It is crazy, and it always lands as a crit. It's genuinely so broken. It's so good. It's so good. But here, let's go ahead. We went ahead and we maxed out our farms. We are going to have to place Gogeta and Vegito so that we can max out his damage due to his passive, where wherever they're in his range, they'll gain a 10% of the total damage, scales up to 100%. So for the extra 100% damage, we are going to have to place Gogeta down and everything like that. So we're just going to wait for that. We're going to wait for the money, and then we'll place him down and we will upgrade him. But we'll go ahead and check it out. We'll max him out, and this is his damage without any of the crazy buffs, because he does receive a huge damage buff. We'll go ahead and stun him with Bulma once we get that, and then we'll go ahead and place Gogeta down. So this is him with base, and we'll go ahead and give him that 150% permanent with the Bulma boost. So she stuns him with emergency capsule deployment, so you can force 150% out of Gohan. It's so OP. Look, 30% crit, 150% damage. Now he's doing 330,000 damage. Genuinely crazy. It's not crazy yet, but once we place Gogeta and place Vegito and we max them out, he'll go up in damage. You'll watch it tick up. Like, watch this. Look, there goes. Okay, 50%. All right, I think he just got that from there though, because this isn't a lot of damage. Not yet anyway. But once you upgrade them, he will do crazy damage. Like here, let me show you. All right, 1% attack, and then we will upgrade them. And once we add virtual idol, he'll receive even more damage. Unfortunately, it does cap out at 100%, but dude, it's crazy. So let's go ahead and get this out. We'll max out Gogeta. All right, 315k on that. And look at how much damage Gohan has. All right, he gained so much from this. And let's go to Vegito. All right, and it's total damage in the area. So once we place virtual idol, it'll buff Gohan and it'll buff Vegito and Gogeta. So he will take on that damage as well because he receives a 10% of the total. I think, let me check that just to make sure. Yeah, 10% of the total damage of all units, scaling up to 100%. So it can be really crazy. If like just the more damage that your team does, the more of a boost Gohan gets. All right, let's go ahead and we'll max out our Vegito. All right, there we go. 25% attack on Gohan. Let's see, we got our Vegito max, everything maxed. All right, and now we're going to place down Virtual Idol, give Gohan even more damage. Let's go ahead and max her out, give him even more damage. And as you can see, you know, 300,000 damage over here on Vegito. Of course, it'll go up, of course. All right, and there we go, 400k on Gohan. All right, and let's use enamoring music so that we can go ahead and get this going. Because the more damage they get, the more damage he gets. So let's run that. 55% attack on him. All right, 477,000, 389,000 on Gogeta, and 452k on Vegito. Now, when Gohan really gets crazy, and you can get him up to like really crazy numbers in damage, is whenever you can buff your Gogeta. Since I'm not running Fern here, typically you want to run Fern with specific relics on Gogeta, and you can place crit rate on your farms when they're in Gogeta's range, and it'll give him tons of damage, which Gohan will also benefit off of that as well. So that is typically what you will want to run with that. Unfortunately, I don't have Fern evo'd. I am farming evo for her right now, but that is something that you can do. I'm sure someone else will make a video on it, so you could definitely check that out. I'm sure I'm not going to have the most damage on Gohan, but that doesn't take away from how good of a unit he is now. I think he definitely competes for top DPS, not gonna lie. I mean, he just does a lot of damage. Specifically with the stocks though, the stocks really give him that damage boost. So I don't know if there's like a way to like force out the stocks that would make him really beneficial without like sacrificing someone on your team. We definitely do need to look at that. So I will be looking at that, and I'll see if I can make another video on it. Alright guys, so I did go ahead and I sold my units, and I took care of the ones that were coming through. We did get 2 stocks off, so let's go ahead and replace all our units. Yes, we're gonna have to replace them all. Let's upgrade Gogeta. Let's place Vegito. All right, there we go. Let's go ahead and place Gohan. All right, upgrade Gohan to the max. All right, we got 500k. Let's go. Heck yeah. Oh, did he already get his buff from no, maybe not, but look how much damage he has. I don't even think he got his buff from Bulma yet, unless it sticks around. I'll have to check. All right, let's go ahead and place a Virtual Idol. Upgrade her to the max. All right, there we go. Gohan's damage 582k. Let's get this. All right, we're gonna go ahead and put her on damage strike just to make sure, and then we're gonna do enamoring music. All right, perfect. 630k, and let's make sure we got the Bulma buff. Did we get the Bulma buff? Oh, yep, it sticks around. Even if you sell him, it sticks around. So this is how much damage I can get with Gohan, and then this is him compared to my Vegito and Gogeta. And I'm not running the best build for them, guys. I gotta be so real. I'm not running like Fern to get like the most damage out of Gogeta or anything. Because like I said earlier, you know, you need the farms, you need to put crit on them, put crit rate on them with Fern, and then put crit rate on Gogeta. And he can get up to like 1.4, 1.6 million damage. I watched it go crazy in like a Gojo rift. It was crazy, but I'm not running the best build. I am working on it. I am still relatively new player, so I do not have her evo'd, unfortunately. I do have Virtual Idol. She's really good in my opinion, but you know, Fern just goes crazy for Gogeta. So I do think that is going to be the end of the video, guys, but I do think that Gohan is a really good unit. Honestly, with the buffs, he definitely needed them, but we need a way, in my opinion, to force out the stocks that doesn't sacrifice one of your better teammates. You know what I mean? Because I would love to run Gohan on my team, which I'm going to run Gohan on my team, possibly. I don't know. Merciless God stun is really, really good, so I just don't know if it's worth the DPS, because Merciless God does do good DPS. I just don't know if it's worth trading out Gohan or not, because he does do a lot of DPS, and maybe I'm just not using him correctly. I'm not sure. I'm sure there'll be another video out there with the best build for Gohan, but I think that Gohan is a really good unit in my opinion. I'm not sure if he's better than Vegito or not, but I'm sure somebody will definitely figure that out. Alright, that is going to be it for the new Gohan buffs. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.